Hello, students. I hope you are staying safe at your homes with your family members as a responsible citizen. First of all, congratulations to you all for coming in new class 7. Students, we should always remember that time and tide wait for none. And so is the life, which means to move on through all thick and thin, through all ups and downs. So here, once again, I, Monica Pandey, welcome you in the first class of English literature, and the first chapter in prose is Big Brother, written by Munshi Premchand. It's a very beautiful story about two brothers from a village who are sent to study in city away from their home. For your better understanding, just look at the sheet which is following. Chapter's name, Big Brother, by Munshi Premchand. There are two characters in the story. The first one is the elder brother, who is also known as a big brother. The second character is the younger brother. The elder brother is the protagonist. He is loving, caring, hardworking, diligent, responsible, slow learner, practical, laborious, and bossy. Now the younger brother, who is a narrator, is a respectful boy, intelligent, playful, casual, carefree, impractical, and overconfident. Now I will read the chapter. You have to read and listen the story carefully. Notice the diction and pronunciation of the text. There was an age difference of 5 years between my big brother and me. However, he was only 3 years senior to me in school. Both of us started school at the same age, but my brother believed in taking his studies slow and steady. Since he wanted to lay a solid foundation, he took 2 to 3 years in each class to do complete justice to his studies. The foundation, after all, should be strong for the edifice to endure. At that time, I was 9 and he was 14. He had the right to supervise and instruct me, and I was expected to abide by his orders without deviation. My brother was studious by nature. Most of the time, he would have a book open in front of him. At times, he would relax by scrawling pictures of birds, dogs, and cats in the margins of his notebook. I have seen my brother write a name, word, or even a sentence up to 10 or 20 times. In contrast, I had no interest in studies. To sit with a book for an hour was an ordeal for me. Given a chance, I would slip out of the hostel and go to the field to play marbles or fly kites with my friends. Of course, these acts of mine were met with great disapproval by my brother. His first question would be, "Where were you?" It was always the same question in a similar tone, and I always had the same reaction: silence. I failed to understand why I could not tell my brother that I was playing. My silence was like an acknowledgement of my guilt. My brother would begin, "If this is your way to study English, you will be doing it for the rest of your life." One cannot learn English so easily. You have to give your days and nights to master the subject. Even then, you would only acquire a bit of the language. Do you know, even great scholars can't write properly English, much less be able to speak it. You should learn from me. I don't attend shows and carnivals. I never go to cricket and hockey matches. All I do is keep studying all the time. And even then, it takes me more than 2 years in each class. How do you expect to pass if you don't study? You're simply wasting our father's hard-earned money. Such a scolding would inevitably reduce me to tears. I would feel low and thinking of running home from school. However, after an hour or so, I would gain control over my emotions and resolve to study hard. I liked to draw up a schedule. I would leave out the word play from the timetable and write it thus: get up at the crack of dawn, freshen up, eat a snack, and study. From 6 to 8 o'clock English, 8 to 9 o'clock arithmetic, 9 to 30 minutes past 9 o'clock history, then meal time and school. After school would be geography from 4 to 5 o'clock, grammar from 5 to 6 o'clock, then 30-minute walk, followed by English composition at 30 minutes past 6 o'clock, then dinner, translation from 8 to 9 o'clock, Hindi from 9 to 10 o'clock. From 10 to 11 o'clock was time for miscellaneous exercise and then sleep. However, as we all know, it is one thing to draw up a schedule and a quite different one to follow it. I could not follow it from the first day. The vast green playground, the cheers in the football field, the speed and flurries of the volleyball game beckoned me irresistibly. The moment I reached the playground, I forgot everything. My resolve, my timetable, and the books that strained my eyes. When it was time to return to the room, I was always filled with dread. I would try to avoid him as much as possible, hoping to get away from his sermons and scolding. However, he always spotted me. The annual exams came, and even this year my brother failed. I was promoted and was first in my class. There was now only 2 years difference left between us. I felt a little proud of myself. My brother's influence over me would be soon over. I began to play freely in the playground. One day I had spent the morning playing stickball and came back at lunchtime. He said in a sharp tone, "I know you have passed this year and even topped your class, but I also see that you are putting on airs. Let me tell you, even great men live to regret their pride. It is easy to pass an exam, but it is really difficult to develop your mind. Think of Ravan and how such great ruler met his doom solely because of his pride." He added, "You have been promoted by one grade. However, when you reach my class and have to study algebra, geometry, and literature in depth, you will realize how tough it is." It is not easy to memorize the king's name. There were 8 Henrys, and if you write about Henry VII instead of Henry VIII, you will get 0. These people perhaps do not have enough names to go around. So after every name, they have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. As for geometry, the lesser said the better. If you write ACB instead of ABC, the whole calculation goes wrong. The perpendicular is twice the base. I ask you, how does it matter? Even if it is 4 times long, what do I care? However, you have to pass, and so you got to memorize it all. Then there are essays. With a hint of anger, he said, "Why should I write 4 pages on a topic when I can say it in a single sentence? Isn't it a contradiction to write a concise essay of 4 pages? Coming to the point, don't think that you are smart just because you got promoted. Pay attention to what I say. I may have failed, but I am still older than you and more experienced. I lost my appetite for lunch. Given my brother's reaction, I wondered that what would have happened had I failed. Moreover, his description of studies in the ninth grade really scared me. However, even this admonition didn't change my distaste for books. I didn't miss a chance to play outside. I studied too, but just enough to complete my assignment and not to be disgraced in class. But my self-confidence disappeared and I started living in fear. In the next annual exams, I passed and my brother failed yet again. I don't think that I had worked very hard and was fairly surprised that I got first division. On the contrary, my brother literally buried himself in the books, putting in long hours in studies. He had grown pale, he failed, and this time I felt sorry for him. When the results were declared, my brother broke down and cried. I cried with him. I almost forgot about my success. Now I am going to tell you the summary of the first half of the story. Children, in the story there are two brothers, the elder brother and the younger brother, who is the narrator. Actually, they had a difference of 5 years, but in the school, the elder brother was only 3 years ahead of his younger brother. The younger brother, who is a narrator, tells that his elder brother was a very studious boy. He never wasted his time idly. To relax also, he used to draw pictures in his notebooks or write names many times. He was never happy with the ways of his younger brother. He used to scold the narrator for skipping his studies also. He used to keep a close watch on his younger brother. The elder brother was very hardworking and a devoted student. On the other hand, the younger brother was a playful child. He loved to play outside. He never took his studies seriously. But when the final results were out, the elder brother failed and the younger one passed. Not only passed, but he held the first position in the class also. This happened the second time also. Seeing the failure of his elder brother, the narrator felt proud of himself and he continued to play even more than earlier. The elder brother explained him and scolded him severely at many times, due to which the narrator used to start crying and he used to feel like running home from there. But somehow he managed to control his emotions and resolved to study. Immediately he used to make up a timetable, but he never followed the timetable. And again he felt helpless when he used to see his friends playing on the ground. He could not stop himself from going and joining his friends in the game of marbles or kite or volleyball. And when he used to return, it was again the elder brother who used to check him and scold him.